In Hollywood, leading men are usually portrayed brimming with confidence. They take chances, charm their way out of anything, and have loads of fans swooning over them. But what if your leading actor was a bit socially awkward, skinny, with a flip phone attached to his belt? That is Michael Cera for you. Cera's early career blossomed thanks to his ability to portray characters on the opposite end of the spectrum. He embraced awkwardness, hesitation, and even a touch of invisibility at times. And that's exactly what resonated with audiences. Or could it be that his ability to tap into these characters is because he has essentially been playing himself all these years? In this video, we'll delve into the early roles where Cera mastered the art of playing endearingly clumsy characters, but also how his quirky personality affected the process behind the scenes. So let's start from the beginning. Michael Cera brought a unique presence to Hollywood, playing characters who, even in anger, remained non-threatening and even hard to take seriously. His role in Arrested Development epitomized this, with his character, George Michael Bluth, embodying awkwardness and decency. The show focused on the dysfunctional Bluth family, with Jason Bateman as Michael Bluth, the responsible, straight man trying to save his self-absorbed family. Cera's portrayal of George Michael, a decent but pressured son who secretly crushes on his cousin Maybe, Aaliyah Shawkat, highlighted the evolution of coming-of-age narratives from the cliche-ridden 80s and 90s films like The Breakfast Club. This shift reflected a broader, more tech-oriented college population and a new generation tired of old stereotypes. The success of Arrested Development and its smart, goofy humor marked a new era in teen and family storytelling, setting the stage for Cera's career and changing landscape of Hollywood comedies. In Arrested Development, George Michael Bluth, played by Michael Cera, is a walking example of immaturity as he is socially awkward and naive. Through his relationship with the Bluth family, specifically his father's expectations and his human emotions toward his cousin, his immaturity comes out. Cera has rendered George Michael as a teenager, resolving family issues and personal relations, which emphasized his innocence and awkwardness in his early acting days. Michael Cera's childish character and circumstances following that led to his character getting fired from the movie Knocked Up. This was influenced by his unique approach to his roles and his desire for creative control over his character. In the film, Cera played a fictionalized version of himself as an entitled actor, which reflected his real-life persona to some extent. Cera's approach to his attitude in Knocked Up was marked by his desire to have a say in his role, particularly in terms of the character's portrayal and wardrobe choices. He expressed a specific preference for wearing a windbreaker in the film, which he considered essential to his character. This strong-willed approach and desire for creative control over his character clashed with the vision of the filmmakers, leading to a situation where Cera's attitude and creative differences resulted in his character being fired from the movie. The incident highlighted the various complexities of Cera's attitude and character in his early years of acting. Another film that not only gave Michael Cera fame but popularity too was Superbad. In it, Cera plays Evan, a shy, socially awkward high school senior who, together with his best friend Seth, Jonah Hill, goes through some wild and funny adventures on their last day of graduation. The movie is basically about Seth and Evan's efforts to acquire alcohol for a party so that they can make their crushes notice them and remember the night for the rest of their college lives. The character of Evan, as played by Michael Cera, is portrayed with all his insecurities and childishness throughout the film. Compared to the brash and extravagant Seth, Evan is calm and considerate. Cera's character is frequently trapped in difficult and rather uncomfortable scenes that display his awesomeness and lack of confidence, which makes the film funny. An essential aspect of the character of Michael Cera's that shows his immaturity in the movie Superbad is his dealing with his crush, Becca. The fact that she could not understand his interest in her because of his insecurities and doubts about relationships show his immaturity and lack of awareness of relationships. Such a dynamic adds sweetness and vulnerability to the character of Evan, and this makes him relatable to viewers. The depiction of Evan by Cera is also different from the self-centered and impulsive behavior of his friend Seth. Although he is quite clumsy, he is a very kind and understanding man to Becca. This again contrasts his immaturity, though it does it in a subtle way, depicting his growth throughout the movie movie where he navigates adolescence and friendship. Through the role of Evan, played by Michael Cera in Superbad, we can see the true epitome of the socially awkward, insecure, and self-discovery journey of teenagers. The characterization of Evan, who is immature but has a good heart, contributes to the film as one of the essential compelling parts of a comedy coming-of-age story. Michael Cera later plays Polly Bleecker, Juno McGuff's boyfriend and the one whose child she is expecting. In the plot of Juno, the main character is Juno, a witty and independent teenager who finds herself pregnant after a single sexual encounter with her long-life friend and crush, Polly Bleecker. Juno's interactions with Polly after discovering her pregnancy bring out his immaturity. Initially supportive of abortion, Polly shows a lack of understanding and emotional maturity in dealing with the situation. Juno's decision to adopt leads to further complexities in their relationship. At various points in the film, Polly's responses to Juno's pregnancy and interrelations with her demonstrate his incompetency and immaturity more so than Juno's thoughtful and decisive manner. His limited responses and inability to comprehend what is happening reflects just how immature and shallow this character's attitude is. Throughout the story, Polly's actions towards and reactions to Juno's pregnancy manifest his growth and development into a responsible father figure. His journey from a bemused and immature standpoint to a wiser and more understanding one manifests a smooth but evident character development that makes the movie richer. In another movie, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Michael Cera is the guy playing the main character, Scott Pilgrim, who is 22 years old, a slacker, and a bassist in a garage band. The fact that Scott dates Knives, the high school student, shows his immaturity and lack of direction. Scott's life changes abruptly when Scott finds his love interest in a beautiful American delivery girl named Ramona Flowers. However, dating Ramona comes with a unique challenge, beating her 7 ugly exes in a fight for her love. Michael Cera as Scott through the film demonstrates his immaturity and his cluelessness. Scott is unemployed, undeveloped, and trapped in a state of endless childhood. He receives monetary help from his roommate, Wallace, and does not care much about his job and struggles with it. Scott's relationship with Knives Caillou is a good example of his childishness. Despite his being 22, he has a 17-year-old high school student as a girlfriend. This, together with the attempts to win Ramona while he is still with Knives, gives a signal of his inability to grow and to change from his teenage behavior. During the whole story, Scott has to deal with his struggles and see the outcomes of his mistakes. He fights Ramona's ex-boyfriends, each representing one of his character's flaws and fragility. Through this war, Scott gradually shifts, quietly reconciling his imperfections and the inevitability of growing up. Scott's shutdown with Gideon Graves, Ramona's last ex, marks the movie's climax and symbolizes Scott's reluctance to evolve and move forward. It is at this moment that Scott sees he has to fight his immaturity and take control of his actions if he ever wants to have a shot with the beautiful Ramona. Scott Pilgrim's internal strife is the core of a happy ending of the movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The success of this film is closely tied to Michael Cera's performance as Scott Pilgrim because the interpretation of immaturity and lack of maturity by the actor is the heart of the story. Nevertheless, in the past few years, Cera has changed from a poorly matched childish character to a more contemplative characterization of him that portrays him as an adult actor. In an interview with the New York Times, Cera simply stated, "I am never content repeating myself. I always want to be doing something fresh and creative." The shift is evident in films like Aaron Sorkin's Molly's Game 2017, which is a social drama. The film centers on Molly Bloom, Jessica Chastain, a former skier who competed on behalf of the Team USA and now handles poker games for the rich and famous. Cera plays Player X, a famous Hollywood actor who becomes a client drawn to the thrill of the underground gambling world. His performance highlights the darker side of celebrity and the allure of high-stakes poker. Through Player X's interactions with Molly and other players, Cera showcases his versatility as an actor. This complex and intense character stands in stark contrast to Cera's early typecasting, proving his ability to embody more serious and mature roles. Cera's desire for diverse roles extends beyond dramas. In the 2022 film Barbie, he returned to his comedic roots while adding more depth to his performance. He played Alan, an alternative to the Ken dolls, and earned praise for his hilarious, yes, yet nuanced take on the character. Cera's most recent performance as an indie drama called The Adults, where he played a character coping with complex family issues. He told Vanity Fair the biggest challenge was balancing comedy and drama and not being afraid to go to dark places. Despite his successful transition, Cera is still thankful for the roles that made him widely known when he was starting his career. In an interview with the AV Club, he said, Arrested Development was such a special show, and I'm so lucky to have been a part of it. In addition, Cera has developed as an actor while still keeping his original charm and likability. What do you think about Michael Cera? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you like this video, make sure to click and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.